Hi everybody, welcome to my Module 7 poster assignment. Wasn't sure what form of media I wanted to use to kind of go over everything that I learned from this course, but I decided to go with a Google slideshow with just some information on it that I can talk about because in one of our modules, I think it was Module 5, we talked about accessibility, and one of the main focuses in that was kind of Google slideshows and PowerPoints in general, how to make them accessible. So I thought it makes sense to use a Google slideshow for this, as well as I didn't just want to post a slideshow, I wanted to make a video of me talking about it, explaining some of my thoughts and ideas and reflections from this course. So I know we use Screencastify several times in the course, so I thought it made sense to use that as well as a recording device for this module. So first thing I want to talk about was my philosophy of online teaching. So first little bullet point I have is that online teaching / instruction is definitely here to stay. I know in the beginning when the shutdown first happened, everyone was super stressed out about online teaching and was thinking, well, as soon as COVID is over, that it'll go back to normal. But in reality, I don't think we're ever going to go back to normal teaching. I think there's too many benefits of this online instruction / online teaching that just doesn't make sense to get rid of. For example, I know our school district will probably never have another snow day because of the online teaching. They just realize at this point, it just makes a lot of sense that we have come accustomed to the online teaching, that if there are snow days, we can plan and predict it far enough ahead of time that we can make it kind of like an asynchronous day or a virtual day, that we don't have to make up school days at the end of the year anymore. As well as, I know as a teacher, I was used to get, I don't know if frustrated is the right word, but used to be challenging when you'd have students missing several days of work, being absent or going on vacation. I think now that we've been so accustomed to online teaching and everything, that it's easier to provide those lessons and easier for those students to make up their missed work because everything is online and accessible for them. So even though it's definitely been challenging for some people and some teachers, I definitely think it is here to stay, even when COVID is hopefully completely resolved. I don't think we're going back to the way of teaching that we used to be accustomed to. The next little thing I wanted to point out on this is just, along with philosophies of online teaching, I was kind of surprised that there were national standards for online teaching. I remember doing that in the first module, really surprised me, and I remember specifically reading through that and thinking, like, wow, these standards remind me very similar to the Danielson framework, and I kind of have them listed over here. The was that 8 standards? At least when I remember reading through it, I'm like, wow, these standards seem very similar to the Danielson framework that we get kind of evaluated on in our school districts in Pennsylvania, just more of an online version of it. And so as it was, I think it was in module 2 or 3, then there actually was a Danielson framework for online teaching. If I can stop drawing, I want to click on that. Well, it's being stubborn. There we go. Yeah, the Danielson framework for remote teachers. So I just thought, whoops. Yeah, when reading through this, I thought that the national standards remind me very similar of the framework, which it turns out it pretty much is. And I think that those standards are going to be kind of eventually working in with the Danielson framework. I think we'll start being evaluated on both aspects, both the face-to-face aspect as well as the online as well. Second thing I want to talk about was social-emotional learning and how it can kind of be taught in both face-to-face and the online setting, different learning environments. So going in this, I really thought SEL could be easily overlooked in an online setting. I thought it was easier to kind of teach it and practice it and experience it in a brick and mortar setting where you were with the students. But after doing some more research and having the time to investigate it more in this, I think it was in module 5, if I'm correct. No, it was module 3, was social emotional learning. I realized that of the 6 different aspects of social emotional learning, the self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, self-awareness, decision-making, and future self, all 6 of those can be kind of taught and promoted through various learning environments like synchronous learning and asynchronous learning. So specifically, I thought through synchronous learning, you can really promote self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, kind of just teach them, in self-management, some of those coping skills you can still do through synchronous. Social awareness, if they're working in groups or partners, just being aware of their surroundings and how everyone else is feeling. Also, while in an asynchronous form, they can still kind of teach and promote self-awareness, responsible decision-making, future self. I know the one article from this module with the 30 different ways to promote SEL in online instructions I thought was super helpful. I know in the synchronous learning rules, it's talking about doing daily check-ins through Zoom or Google Meet, as well as going into breakout rooms can be super helpful. So I just thought that was super helpful, and I really enjoyed this aspect because, again, I didn't really think about ever teaching social emotional learning through an online setting. It was always more something that we did in the brick and mortar class or face-to-face. Some of my big takeaways from this class. Number one, my biggest hope out of this class was finding different online tools I could use as a math teacher. It's kind of difficult finding good, useful tools in math, ones that you can kind of promote student engagement and student involvement. But I thought we did a great job in that. I think we found, or at least I really enjoyed reading through the discussion posts and watching some of the videos that we did, going over different tools I could use. So I thought that was cool. It's definitely a big takeaway. That was my main goal of this class. My main hope was to find different collaborative tools. Another takeaway is just something I wasn't expecting. I think a lot of people are kind of surprised when they kind of dove into the accessibility aspect of the module 5. Yeah. Never really thought about that before this class. Like, is the stuff that I'm providing accessible to everybody? Is it fair? This just wasn't something I had addressed or thought of before. I thought it was kind of cool reading through I think it was chapter 8 in the Rice articles, that UDL is a great way of making content more accessible for learners with special needs. I thought it was cool seeing how module 6 and 5 kind of went together and promoting different means of engagement in media can also make it more accessible for students with special needs as well. I thought that was really cool and definitely something I'll keep in mind going forward. My 3 biggest ahas from this course, number 1 was that you can teach SEL virtually, kind of like I talked about before. Wasn't really something I had thought of. I always envisioned social emotional learning and just all of that as a face-to-face brick and mortar aspect. So I think it was cool seeing different ways you could do that virtually. Number 2, like I mentioned before, was also the standards for online education. Didn't see that at all. I think it's awesome. It's something I wish when we first went to online education during the shutdown that our school district would have sent to us, like, hey, these are the standards, these are what we're expecting from you, instead of just kind of leaving it up in the air, seeing what happens. So It's definitely something I will keep in mind and something I will share with other colleagues as well as we ever need to transition into online education again. I know our school district has had to shut down and do that twice already this school year. The last big aha and takeaway is just making online resources more accessible. Again, I post a lot of PDFs and make a lot of slideshows for my classes and students, so never really thought about making it more accessible for students with special needs. So I just think that was a big aha to kind of pay more attention to it and make it a little bit better for those students and learners. And here's some of my works cited. Just I kind of talked about things from all of these articles. That's why I included the works cited. I didn't really quote much in the PowerPoint because I just wanted to talk about it, but I talked about things from all of these websites and sources. So, thank you. Have a great day, everybody.